Have you ever wondered why you were never taught about the Black Panther Party in school? Why is it that the government and educational institutions are terrified to teach students about the remarkable history of Black Americans? The truth is, there is a hidden Black history that is often left out of textbooks and classrooms, and how it changed the course of history for Black Americans forever. Let's get started. The 1960s Social Liberties Regulation was a defining moment throughout the entire existence of African Americans, who needed to manage steady racial persecution at the time. Although racial segregation still exists today, Black Americans during the 1950s chose to stand firm against it and fight for their rights. Consequently, the American Civil Rights Movement was born, and they protested against racial segregation and discrimination. Despite the 14th and 15th Amendments of the U.S. Constitution providing basic civil rights to enslaved Black Americans in the 1860s, they continued to face racial discrimination. The government neglected to safeguard their social liberties, leading various groups of people of color to wage war to defend themselves. One of the results of this choice was the development of the Black Panther Party, which became an effective answer to the issue. However, eventually something happened that brought everything crashing down. Racial segregation in California began in Oakland, attracting people of different races to the region, including Southern African Americans and white people. As more people of color moved to Oakland than white individuals, it turned into a critical issue. In spite of the way that it ought to have been a positive encounter for people of color, the police force in the city was predominantly made of white people, with many of them being ex-Southern whites. This led to an inevitable culture of isolation and segregation, as well as police brutality against Black Americans. After years of enduring this injustice, young people began to speak out. However, it was the tragic murder of an unarmed Black teenager named Matthew Johnson by a San Francisco policeman that finally sparked a massive outcry. The way that the executioner wasn't captured just stoked the fire, prompting the arrangement of 12,000 National Guard troops to suppress angry residents. This occasion filled in as an impetus for the development of the Black Panther Party for self-defense by two Oakland residents, Bobby Seale and Huey Newton. The Black Panther Party was laid out to fight police brutality while prompting equal business, housing, and justice for every person of color, as well as defending African American populations from further violence. The party was heavily influenced by Malcolm X's philosophies on Black pride and his advocacy for armed self-defense against white oppression. The Black Panther Party was not just a response to police brutality, but also aimed to fight against capitalists and superior Black people who participated in oppressing those with lower social and economic status. Founded in 1966, the party deployed armed citizen patrols to monitor police activity and protect Black communities throughout Oakland and other U.S. cities, expanding its influence over time. As the Black Panthers continued to patrol, they gained popularity and attention from various individuals, resulting in political and social activities within the Black community. More Black people joined the cause, expanding the reach of the beneficial party. The Black Panthers got support from urban communities and metropolitan areas with enormous minority networks like Philadelphia, Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago. In the span of 2 years of its foundation, in 1968, the Black Panthers Self-Preservation Party had earned the support of around 2,000 individuals across the U.S. To keep the organization going, the Black Panther Party established its own set of laws and principles. Drawing on Marxist ideologies, the party had a special outline for its political objectives, and which were taught through a 10-point program. The 10-point program outlined the goals of the Black Panther Party and what they wanted for Black Americans throughout the country. The program covered various areas, such as freedom and power to determine the destiny of the community, full employment, decent housing, proper education, exemption of Black men from military service, an immediate end to police brutality and murder, freedom for all Black men held in prisons, trial by peers from Black communities, access to clothing, bread, land, housing, education, peace, and justice. When examining the 10-point program, it became clear that the Black Panther Party was not asking for too much. The party did not just make a list of demands for the Black community without taking any action. They carried out various plausible actions, including continuing their patrols in accordance with California law, which allowed them to carry firearms in public. The state's racist lawmakers passed a bill that aimed to outlaw carrying firearms in public, which was clearly motivated by their desire to disrupt the newfound power balance of the Black community. Accordingly, the Black Panther Party made a move to protect their entitlement to carry weapons and coordinated a peaceful protest at the state legislature for a news gathering. Despite their efforts, Governor Ronald Reagan still signed the bill into law, But this didn't stop the Black Panthers from continuing to fight to improve African American populations. The Black Panther Party and various Black communities implemented survival programs, which included the highly successful free breakfast program that fed 20,000 children daily. They also provided free food programs for families and elderly individuals, sponsored the education of Black children, established legal aid offices, health clinics, and sickle cell testing centers in different cities, and provided local transportation and clothing distribution in Black communities. These actions were of immense support to low-income Black communities, earning the Black Panthers more popularity and support from people everywhere. The Black Panther Party grew a lot after it started. They had 49 groups in different places and around 5,000 people as members in just 3 years. This rate of growth led to the Black Panther Party reaching its pinnacle of success, but it didn't continue forever. The government saw the Black Panther Party as a big danger to the country's safety, even more than the Chinese and Russians. To prevent the emergence of a Black Messiah from among their ranks, our counterintelligence program was tasked with the responsibility of monitoring them closely. Despite their positive contributions towards the development of the Black communities they served, some members of the government and society regarded them as a menace. The downfall of the Black Panther Party began when some of its members started to make headlines for their violent contributions and arrests. These incidents included a shootout involving Huey Newton, the party's leader, in 1967, during which he allegedly killed a white Oakland police officer named John Frey. Consequently, Newton was tried and found guilty of voluntary manslaughter in 1968, leading to his imprisonment for 2 to 15 years. Newton's imprisonment led to widespread protests by the Black community, who saw him as a victim of a biased judicial system, despite being released 2 years later due to 2 different trials. The Black Panther Party continued to experience internal and external conflicts. For instance, a shootout involving the editor of the party's official newspaper, Elridge Cleaver, and a 17-year-old Black Panther treasurer insured with members of the Oakland police, leading to the deaths of the treasurer and injuries to 2 officers. Thus, the release of Newton did not change the situation, as many altercations and conflicts continued to occur within and outside the organization. The absence of their leader caused members of their party to lose control, and conflicts emerged, leading to a ban on such behavior within the organization. In 1969, bona fide Black Panther member Alex Rackley was subjected to torture and murder by fellow members, who accused him of being a police informant. Betty Ann Patter, a bookkeeper of the Black Panthers, was also found beaten and killed in 1974, and although no one was charged, many believe that the party leaders were responsible for her death. This internal turmoil made the party a prime target for the FBI. Despite the Black Panther Party's peaceful goals and focus, the federal government grew suspicious of their socialist message and Black nationalist agenda, leading to them being targeted by a secret FBI counterintelligence program. The FBI had monitored the Black Panthers for years and in 1969 declared them a communist organization and a threat to the United States government. The party was deemed one of the biggest threats to national internal security by J. Edgar Hoover, the first FBI director, the previous year. The FBI attempted various tactics to weaken the party, including dismantling their social community programs, such as the free breakfast for children. To make matters worse, the FBI resorted to unjust tactics in their efforts to completely dismantle the Black Panther Party. They began by exploiting existing tensions between various Black national groups and even enlisted the help of rival parties. In addition, they falsely accused and imprisoned innocent members of the party, as well as engineered events that resulted in the deaths of several Black Panther Party members. For instance, they incited an altercation between some members and the Chicago Police Department that led to the death of the former, despite evidence showing that the Panthers were not the instigators. Ultimately, the Black Panther Party was dissolved in 1982. The United States government has a long history of mistreating Black people, and the FBI's campaign to dismantle the Black Panther Party stands out as an especially egregious example. The fact that they were willing to resort to murder in their efforts to destroy the organization is a tragic reminder of the lengths to which some will go to maintain the status quo. It is an event that will not soon be forgotten. Despite the efforts of the FBI and other government agencies to dismantle the Black Panther Party, their legacy lives on. Their struggle for racial justice and their community programs inspired future generations of activists and provided a model for other organizations seeking to improve the lives of marginalized communities. The Black Panther Party remains as an important chapter in an ongoing struggle for racial equality in the United States.